Hello, beautiful boss babes. Are you ready to chase life with Kelly? Well, I'm your host, Kelly Chase, and I'm so excited you're here. We are going to talk about all things love, dating, relationships, money mindset. We're going to dive deep into self-love, worthiness. I am going to bring on some incredibly empowering guests. We're going to have fun, we're going to laugh, and perhaps we're even going to shed some tears together. I am here to empower you, inspire you, and motivate you to create the life you crave. I am so excited for today's episode. Let's dive in. Hello, babes. Welcome back to the show. I'm excited to introduce today's guest because this lady and I have been friends for, I want to say 15 plus years now. Met in college at the University of Georgia. If you are a listener of the Girls Gotta Eat podcast, she has been on there. She's a fan favorite over on Girls Gotta Eat. And, but she's my true fan favorite. So I want to welcome to the show one of my besties, Jenny Jones.
Hi.
Hi.
I wish we were in person.
I know. I thought about doing this. I thought about like scheduling this podcast like while I was out there. And then I was like, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, the dog would have been doing the thing, so it's fine.
That's true. But yeah, but I'm super excited to talk with you. Just I wanted to have like a friend on the podcast. I mean, you have such a cool story and like journey and all the things, but I just want to have a friend on the podcast because it's really like girl talk and it just feels fun. And, I feel like we can like maybe relate more to our listeners or, to my listeners. It's just two like normal human beings, So
I was listening to, do you know Heather McMahon, her podcast? And she was like, I want to bring people on that like are on my friends and like that lift me up. She's like, I don't want to have these celebrities on that I don't know. And I was like, oh, that's actually a very cool way to like engage with people. So
yeah,
I
got it. Yeah. Like I want to have a blend, it's fun to, because I know there's people out there that obviously are like, I mean, they're all, I'm not, me, I'm not like into all the like celebrity stuff. I mean, it's funny. Like, I don't even watch reality shows. I was on one and I don't even watch them. Damn it. I don't know what's going on out in this world. I'm like in my own little bubble, but
I was also on your reality show.
You were. That's right. Yes. Jenny Jones was.
I tell people that. I'm like, I was on Love is Blind in the audience.
She was. That's right. Yes, you were.
She's like, this bitch better not say yes.
I did. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question about that. Like being in the audience, like, how was that? Like, were you thinking that I might say yes?
I thought at one point that you were like, I don't know if we're going to go through with this because we want to still get to know each other. And I thought you were tricking us. So like that we would think that you were going to say one thing and then you would say yes. And then that would get our shocked reactions of like, oh my God. So I was super nervous about that, but then I was like, I don't know, Kelly's like not that good of a liar. So I just can't imagine her pulling this off and just like beating us all. I would have been shocked, but also like, I don't know, I would have been happy for you. It was a fun day.
Yeah, no, totally. It was a really fun day. Well, kind of crazy. It was a
it was a weird day.
It was a weird day. Yeah, let's use that word. It was a very, very weird day. That's so funny though. I know. I mean, honestly, right before it was leading, like the few days leading up to the wedding, I honestly like was having doubts about my confirmed decision that I was not going to get married. Like I was like, maybe we should get married. He's checking all the boxes. Like,
yeah,
wouldn't I marry him? But that was crazy.
I think we've all done that, right? Like I've done that with like boyfriends where I've been like, why don't I just marry this person? Because I'm so tired of dating. Like I totally get it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did it.
I mean, I'm glad too. It was a time and a reason, that experience exists and, I'm grateful for it. I mean, it definitely, as I've mentioned all, on social media and on this podcast before, it's like, it was definitely like a catalyst to like my greater, just self-love journey and everything. So, everything happens as it's supposed to.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. So why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about you? How we met. Do you have a first memory of me? You probably have a lot of great memories of me.
It was like probably in a tube top, like at a tailgate. I think it's not my earliest memory because I know we were friends, but it was like celebrating our 21st birthdays together, I think was like a big milestone. But I know we met my junior year because that's when I transferred. And then I think we became a lot closer like senior year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like our little group has stayed friends for, I don't know, when did we graduate? How old are we?
I know.
15 years, not 20 years yet, but about like a little over 15.
Yeah, a little over 15. I know. Our birthdays are 2 weeks apart, literally 2 weeks apart. Or actually,
both Leos. Leo season starts tomorrow.
Leo season, that's right. Yes.
What else about me? Yeah, I mean, went to Georgia with you, and then I moved to Chicago, and then I moved back to Atlanta. I moved to Austin. I moved back to Atlanta. I moved to Raleigh. I moved to Nashville, and now I live in Denver.
Yeah.
I don't know. Besides where I live, I mean, mostly been in like PR, social. I work for Burt's Bees. Kind of been a contractor freelancer for the last 10 years, which is why I've been able to move around so much. Yeah, I don't know. I'm blonde, not really.
I'm blonde, not really.
This is my real hair color.
Oh my God.
I'm a 37-year-old Leo with fake hair and fake boobs.
I love that.
I love that for me.
I love that for you. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. So you've definitely lived more places than I have. So talk about that. Like, why did you just have like a knack to just go see the world, or were you doing it for other reasons?
Definitely Chicago was like wanting to leave Georgia after college. I loved Chicago. It was like such a great place to be in my 20s. I think I left just because I really missed the South. I think the South like kind of always calls you back. Like you just can't beat SEC football and like Southern hospitality and all of that stuff. I missed my family. It hasn't really been for jobs. I've actually been, I wouldn't say stupid, but I've taken like a lot of risks and just being like, I don't want to be in this job anymore, but I don't want trying to find another job to hold me back from doing the thing that I want to do in this moment. Cause I mean, it's so hard to find another job. Mm-hmm. So I think I've always been lucky in being like, I'm going to quit this thing, but I'm kind of going to hit the ground running and setting something else up. I've always like, and you've done this too. I mean, we've always just juggled multiple jobs to kind of have the life that we want. Yeah. And it frustrates me sometimes when people are like, oh, well, I can't do this thing. And it's like, yes, you can. Like, you can work multiple jobs. You can do this stuff. You can have side hustles. You can do whatever you want to do. It's just like, sometimes people are like, oh, well, that's beneath me. Like, I don't want to work at a restaurant. Like, I was working at a bar studio doing contract work in Chicago. At one point, I was a Bud Light girl. I was working an unpaid internship. I was working at a Club Monaco. Like, it's just, you're kind of burning yourself out. But I was in my 20s, but I feel like I've always done things to like have the life that I want to have and be where I want to be. And I feel like you've been that way too. I mean, it's probably been to our own detriment, but
yeah.
I think it's gotten us to like this point where we are, where we have like something more stable because we worked so hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be able to like free ourselves up to do things we want to do now.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I was so much in that. I mean, getting to go to Spain, getting to go to Thailand. Like, so Jenny and I have traveled outside of the country a couple of times, and, you know, those were memories that, I mean, priceless, you know, and like but I wouldn't have been able to get there probably had I not been working multiple jobs. And because I was working a corporate job that was like really unfulfilling, as well as like paid me shit. And so I was like working 4 other side jobs at the time too. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to do things with my friends, you know? And my mom, it was funny because my mom was always like, Kelly, you're living you have like a champagne appetite on a beer income. And I was like, yeah, but I'm getting to travel and I'm getting to go to dinner more than, you know, once every 3 months. Like, I want to go out to dinner and I want to like buy nice things and I want to have nice things. And so I'm hustling. Granted,
now that like what I do, you know, in like the coaching space and all that, but just like my own personal journey, it's like, you don't have to be in this, like, you don't have to hustle into burnout and like, you know,
Right.
hating what you're doing. It's like, you can hustle, work hard, but like love what you're doing. Right. And I feel like that's where I'm at right now, personally.
Yeah, same. I mean, I don't regret any of like the trips I've taken or things I've bought or things I wanted to do. Like, I don't think that maybe with the exception of like a few small trips or like a wedding here and there where I've had to say no to things, but like, I just never want to be a person to be like, no, I can't go to your birthday dinner. No, I can't go celebrate this thing with you, or I can't go to a wedding. And like, you can't really get those things back. And like,
Totally.
if I had advice for like younger Jenny, because I remember I used to be like, this will be future Jenny's problem. But if I had advice, I would have been like, I think I would have been better about budgeting, and I would have been better about credit cards. But you don't learn that stuff in school. And unless your parents sit down and teach you it, it's kind of like you're just figuring it out.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like better for girls that are younger now, because there's just so many more resources available through like TikTok and Instagram and things like that. I mean, we didn't have podcasts where they were talking about how to like be better with our money. So yeah, but it's like, I just always had the mentality of like, money is going to like come and go and I'll figure it out. Like, I mean, I have a 401k, credit card debt. Like, have I wasted money on, what is it called? Like the finance charge? Like, sure. But I've also done everything I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like a double-edged sword. I know people that are like, I've never done anything. And I'm like, well, I'm glad you have all that money.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's interesting, you know, like my, you know, I've learned a lot, but also I coach on like money mindset, and, you know, there are millionaires and billionaires out there that actually have a smaller like money mindset. Like they have a little bit, like they still have like money fears basically, you know, and so they like hoard all their money or whatever, and they don't go and live their life, you know? So it doesn't matter like what your financial status is, you can still have these limited beliefs around things, and which creates limited decisions on how you live. But yeah, I mean, my mom tried to teach me budgeting and all that. And I was like, I don't want to learn. I don't want to learn that. I want to go drink.
They shouldn't have given us credit cards at that young of an age. Like, no, don't give 18-year-olds credit cards or guns. Like, I just do it. Just like running around amok.
Do it.
I should have never had a credit card, but I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do what I wanted to do. I don't know. My parents helped me out a lot. I think we were both fortunate in having like supportive parents that, helped us if things got difficult, but
I agree.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like the whole mentality of like, I don't know, I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. And what did I do with my life? And I hate that cliche. And it's like, I don't want to get hit by a bus, but I also feel like I've lived a pretty fulfilling life, and I have memories to look back on. So I don't know. I'm happy. I chose my choice.
I understand. No, 100%. I mean, I've always been like really inspired by you, and like my lack mindset would always come in and be like, no, I can't, or I need to save for this, or I need to save for that. And I'm like, now it's like the money is coming. I'm taking actions. I do the things to create the income that I want and need. And I'm not going to I'm not sitting here like blowing my money. I'm being very intentional about how I spend it. But like even this week, like my birthday week, I'm going to dinner like half of the week, like every single night. And I'm like, I'm not to spend money that I wasn't like quote unquote budgeting for. But with that said, I'm like, but it's my birthday.
Right.
Like I'm celebrating me, and I love that for me. So I've worked hard. I haven't spent money on certain things over time because I was worried or concerned or stressed out or whatever. And now it's like, whatever, the money's coming. And shit.
I think like we are both very social, extroverted people, and we have a lot of friends. And so it's very difficult to like pick and choose what you say no to. Like if I had like 5 friends and I was like, all I have to do is say yes or no to them, I think I would be a little bit more financially savvy.
Yeah, that's true.
Say yes to everything and everyone that lives everywhere.
Yeah. So. No, that is true. That's true. Okay. So, did you ever move for a dude?
I think Chicago was partly because of a dude that I was dating. But also it was because I loved Chicago, and my whole life I was like, I want to move to New York and be Sex in the City, and I'm going to be Samantha Jones. And I think I fulfilled that except for the New York part.
Yeah.
But I picked Chicago because it was like a more affordable New York. And at the time, the guy I was dating was living there too. And it was, I don't know, going through a breakup when you're in a new city and you don't know anyone was so awful. And I lost so much weight. I mean, I subsisted on like Frappuccinos and Marlboro Lights. Like that's how unhealthy of a relationship and like lifestyle I was living in my 20s, like trying to make ends meet and do stuff. And I feel like after I got over that, I was like, I will never do that again. And I definitely have moved places. I think I moved to Austin. Also, though, Austin was like, I wanted to move to Austin. It just so happened that I was dating someone when I moved to Austin. So I don't know if I necessarily moved for anyone, but I definitely had relationships that I thought were going to be the thing when I got there that didn't work out. Mm-hmm. And I just took that so much harder than it should have been. And no one could have told me to act differently. But like looking back, I'm like, you let this guy that doesn't even matter ruin like your time in like two of the coolest cities in the US. Like, are you stupid? And I still had fun and I still made friends, but it's like, you just want to shake your younger self and be like, don't, like, there's just going to be another guy along. Like, it's just another person. And he rejected you for his own stuff. Like, it has nothing to do with you. So, I mean, those were like my probably two biggest like heartbreak, lost all of the weight, was super skinny, but also dead inside relationships. Like, I don't think I've ever let myself feel like that again after those two things, which I'm surprised I even let myself do it the second time. But I think my first time was 22 and the second time was like nearing 30. So I was like, it can't happen again. And it can.
But I mean, I feel like that's so relatable to so many of us because obviously I have dated multiple times the guys who don't show up for me and don't treat me like the princess that I yearn to be. But you know, it's like, but you keep the way I see it, it's like you're gifted these experiences so that one day you will learn to like honor yourself and like your boundaries and like really be like, okay, fuck that. I am literally not succumbing to that anymore. Like, yeah, I'm choosing me next time. I've learned my lesson. No more. And even sometimes when you say that, sometimes it still happens, but maybe with a little bit more awareness, or maybe you're able to like let it go more quickly.
A little bit more creeps in, but not to the extent of like that other person that just like wrecked your world. Yeah, I think it's the rejection part that just was like so hard of being rejected by because it's, you know, 2 times I'm in a new city and that's the only person I knew. And I was rejected by this person that I didn't have anybody. So I would perpetuate a relationship just to be like, whatever parts you will give me, I will take because I that badly don't want to be alone. And I mean, I posted about it yesterday, like Bear, my friend that passed away last year, he saved my life. Like I was connected to him through a friend and he was like, you have to get out of the house. Like you have to get up. You have to stop chain smoking cigarettes. Like you gotta do something different. And he was like, he told our, you know, Holly, but he was like, we need to get her out of the house. Like there's people that kind of step in and like, be like, this is not like, we see how like shiny you are and how bright you are. And that was like a new person that I met in Austin. So it's like, I guess if you like turn it around in some way and try and look at it differently, like that's what pulled me out of it. To be like, I have other people here that love me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love that.
Like everybody has that. If you just like open yourself up to it, but we get so like tunnel focused on like this one person. It's like, there's so many people.
I know.
That live in my apartment building that I don't even know who they are.
I mean, same.
Like figure out how many apartment buildings are like in the city in which you live and how many people are in them. And it's like, there's so many people.
Yeah, that's so true.
It's just like wild to me how many people there are. And we're just like, no, this one's going to just ruin my whole life.
Right. I know. Well, it's true that we do. We get that tunnel vision. And when we are rejected, that's like the most painful freaking thing too, because we just want someone to love us.
Yeah.
Really want.
Like I think it was like a Mark Groves podcast or a post or something where he was like, we just want to be chosen. And we get so scared that we're not going to be chosen, that we don't say the things that we want. We accept like less and less and less because we want to be chosen. And it's like, my girlfriend said it the other day too. She was like, you know, if you want too much, your too much is maybe somebody else's, like, that's all you want. Like,
right. Totally.
So it's just so crazy what we're willing to accept. And I'm finally getting to a place where I would never do the things that like past Jenny would do. I just wouldn't put up with it. Same. And I hope that for anybody else, like in their 20s that was going through that. I don't know. I hope like everyone has podcasts now and they're a little bit more self-aware.
Yeah.
I was going rogue through life.
Totally. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's literally, so this year, August, I think August or September, it will be, the end of September, it will be 9 years since my latest like long-term relationship. 9 years is a long freaking time.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember you calling me because I had just moved to Austin.
Yeah.
And I went through that breakup. I think you came out and visited me. I mean, yeah. You had other relationships, but that was a longer term one. I haven't had very many long-term ones.
Yeah.
Maybe like 6 months or things that dragged out for like a year, but we were not even boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, what are you guys? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
really perpetuated one of those for me.
Like, I haven't had any of that.
Those are the worst, where you're like, I can't even get out of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, granted, yes, I've been in like a situation where we were girlfriend, boyfriend, and that did perpetuate a long time. And we had a very mature conversation of like, this is like, we have to like cut ties in order to cut ties. So, and then we didn't talk for like 9 months, I guess. And now we can be friends and all is gravy, but just, we allow ourselves to do so many things. Again, just going back to that, like whole chosen thing. It's like, we just want to be like loved and accepted. And but then there's like a fear. Like, there's a lot of girls that I've talked to that are like in relationships and they're like, I mean, I know like technically I'm not like the happiest I probably could be, but like I have a fear of finding better, or the fear of just being alone, and like the anticipation of like, well, how long is it going to be until I'm with someone again?
Yeah. And I mean, even looking back at some of my like longer term recent ones where it was very like tumultuous and like maybe like 2 years of just like, what are we doing? I remember just being like in therapy, talking about them and being like, well, he doesn't do these things that are like, it was almost like, he doesn't cheat on me. He doesn't hit me. He doesn't do that. Like his worst thing is like, I don't know, he's lazy or he's jealous or he's this. And it's like, no, you're just not happy. Like, why are you justifying it being like, well, he's not hitting me? Like, it was just such a stupid mindset. But I was like, well, I mean, sometimes you think that you have to settle for this thing because you're like, is better out there? Because you've been through so many, I don't know, crappy things where you're like, what if I end this thing and I find another thing and his thing is worse than this guy's thing?
Yeah.
Because everyone has their things. Everyone has their flaws. No one's going to be perfect. So it's like, I think that's what's always kept me in things longer. Yeah. Like, this person really loves me. So can I just like make it work? And it's like, no, I'm happy and you're fighting. And, you know, and I think in those two relationships specifically, looking back, they were trying to change me. They were like, you need to be less. You need to not post your opinions about, you know, politics or however you feel about on social media. You need to act a certain way. You need to dress a certain way. You can't talk about these things from your past. You can't talk about that. And it's like, oh my God, just let me be myself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I was willing to like dim myself to like fit into this little box that they had. And it's like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm with someone that lets me pull my boobs out when I'm like 50 years old and I can say fuck a lot.
It's my favorite part about Jenny.
Are we allowed to say that on the podcast? Yeah.
No, it's all good. I cuss on this podcast. I don't care. It attracts the right to
radio.
Like, it's fine. Oh no, I totally agree with you. It's just, you know, it's so crazy what like just like what we do for love. We just like we allow others to treat us, and then we start to like get in our own head of like, well, is it true? Or maybe I am this way, or what, you know? And it's just like, no, like we have to like totally look, you know, not totally, but like, you know, we do have to accept ourselves. But there is someone, as you know, you and I were texting about, and you're like, I don't necessarily think that you have to fully love yourself until someone can like really fully love you. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's like, I know that I'm like such a pusher on that though, of like, no, you got to get like real good with yourself and everything. But, you know, to agree with your point, it's like, no, but while you're working on yourself, you can attract someone to come in, and you're not like, I think you're going to be like on a healing journey or like a self like a personal development journey for the rest of your life, you know, like you're never not going to be aware of like how you should be treated. Right.
Right. And I think like you and I are both so good at giving other people advice that we tend to attract people. Like, I don't think we're attracting the wrong people. I think we're just attracting people that sometimes need like to be fixed. Yeah. And so I put all of my energy into fixing this person where I'm like, hi, you've taken all of my energy away from like the things I need to do. And then that's kind of where like the bad things creep in and the self-love stuff goes away, where I'm like, okay, I'm not even like prioritizing my own stuff because I'm prioritizing all your stuff. And then now you're trying to change me when all the things that you liked about me were the very things I was. So it's just very confusing. I mean, I was just thinking about this when I was saying it, like, when were you finally like, I'm not doing this anymore? Because I know when my turning point was where I was like, no more fixing and no more like these relationships.
Yeah. I mean, it would probably, I mean, granted, like the end of 2017 was like when I started my whole like journey. And that was the first like nudge on the, like tap on the shoulder, like shit has to change. Like, because you are continuing to attract these people. Like I remember one of our mutual friends being like, Kelly Chase, you're a fixer, aren't you? And like hearing that from a guy was like, wow, shit. Like you see it. You know, like I'm sure other people do too when I didn't see it. Like I knew it. I just didn't.
Like, I think most women are like, we're problem solvers. Like you come with me like a problem, I'm going to be like, okay, let's figure out a solution. I'm not going to be like, that sucks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But I think that was like my biggest thing because I was just attracting the guys that they didn't want to date like or commit. Let's put it that way. They didn't want to like date and commit. We were just I was sleeping with them prematurely, meaning that I was like doing it more for like, well, if I don't, they won't like me. If I don't, they won't like choose me. Mm-hmm. So, which was fucked up. And, you know, that's a fucked up thing, but I feel like a lot of us do that. So, you know, I mean,
I think a lot of people do that. I don't know if I do that as much. I think I have sex with people because I like having sex with them, but I think I did it because I felt like when people were like, I want to be like fixed or I'm attracted to Jenny. I felt like I was like this like shiny thing. Like I was like, I'm fun. I'm this. They like want to be around me. And then like all of their stuff would come back and they're like, we don't want to be around you at all. And that's what gave me more rejection. It wasn't like the sex stuff or things like that. It was just like, you thought I was the best thing in the world. And now you're like, meh. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, I mean,
it's because their own stuff creeps back in. Like, I feel like I was more of a distraction.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, you're like, you're fun, you're partying, you're doing stuff. Like, you have all these friends and it like, I was a good distraction from all of the stuff that they were trying to deal with. And then, 2-3 months into it, they still have all that stuff.
Right. Right. Because they weren't
fixing
it themselves. And you were attracted to the fact that you could essentially be there to help them fix the shit. And it may have been subconsciously, like not intentionally. Like it's just
I think it was subconsciously. I don't think they did it maliciously, but I remember to one ex in particular, I was like, I'm not your emotional tampon. Like you were beating me up for all of your problems and then like discarding me. And this is not okay. Yeah. Which was like that. I think that relationship was my turning point of like, I am never doing this again.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I feel like just in the last like 4 years though, like since, I started my journey in 2017, it's, I did the show and that like fucked up my head for a while. And,
in 2017 or was it 18?
That was 2018 was when we filmed the show. Yeah. And like I said, I literally 3 days before our wedding, I was like, should I marry him? Should I not marry him? So obviously I had a lot of love for the man. Right. But anyways, and then I got rejected and, the whole 9 yards. So it was just like, I was like, damn, like it happened again. Like, cool. It happened again. I just poured my life into this person and it happened again. I got rejected, broken up with, whatever we want to call it, so did a lot of work, did some like inner child healing and all the things. And, I do remember going on a date with someone. It was our second date. This was like a few months afterwards. And the guy was telling me, he was like, oh, I just, my like fiance cheated on me. And I was like, oh shit, and I was like, well, how long ago was that? And he was like, oh, like a month ago. And I was like, I just looked at him and I was like, I have fixed guys for far too long. I was like, you are not ready to date.
Yeah.
Especially not ready to be in a relationship. I was like, you're actually hurting. And he was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And like, to your point, it's like, he probably just was like trying to avoid feeling what he needed to deal with, you know? And it was cool because we just like, we put that out there. We actually became friends. We're still friends to this day. And he texted me like months later and was like, thank you for like not dating me, basically, because I went like to a really dark place after, like, you know, we like agreed upon that dating was like not a good thing for us or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you're welcome. But it was just interesting. But yeah, I mean, and then I dated someone like after that. And it's like, I continue to have awareness of, you know, the healing work that I had done, but also like where I still needed to work on stuff and like actually like implement even stronger boundaries and just really honor myself. And, you know, but it happened again. It was like, damn it. Like, you know, I feel like I'm getting closer to like really owning shit and having a relationship, but it like happened again. And then, you know, I was hurting from that for a while. And then I feel like, just going back to your question of like, when did it feel like better? It's like probably within the last year. Like I've been in this place of like, I can't fix anyone. I'm not here to fix anyone. I feel like really good. I'm just like in this really good place of like surrendering and just doing my own thing. And like, if a guy comes in, great. If not, great. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just like, don't feel like I'm like trying to like grasp for a relationship right now.
Yeah.
I want one, but like, it's, I don't know. It's like different.
I mean, I've kind of been that way too. Often. I would do like spurts of just being like I think during ski season, I was like, all I want to do is ski and just hang out with my girlfriends. And then people would kind of like creep in, and then I don't know, I would let my guard down to be like, you weren't the right thing. But I think I was better about being like, and like, of course, like shitty behavior still hurts your feelings. I don't think you're going to be like, this was shitty and be like, I don't care. It still hurts your feelings when someone's shitty to you. But I think I'm better about recognizing when something feels shitty and then being like, this is not the thing, and moving forward. I mean, I hung out with this one guy. This was like, I don't know, maybe in March, but hung out with this one guy, and we hung out. We were introduced through friends. He came into Denver. We went to a concert together. At the end, I was like, he lives in a different state, but I was like, yeah, I'd love to come like this summer. I've never been there during this summer. And he was like, hey, I really don't want a girlfriend. And I was like, slow down. Like, I just met you. Like, we really don't know anything about each other, but it's like, is this because we had sex? Is this because we're long distance? And it's just like, fucking relax. And so the fact that he said that, the older version of me would have been like, okay, well, what are you willing to accept? Like, I'll still come there and we can still have sex and maybe he'll change his mind. And I was just like, all right, I'm not investing any more time in this dude that thinks I want to lock him down into a relationship after 3 days of like, I don't know, the sex was okay, but like, relax. We'll call you Chad.
Relax, Chad.
Yeah, right. Like, we're not all just here trying to like wife you up just because we're a certain age. Like, I just wanted to get to know you better and somewhere that you actually live too. So it's annoying to me when that stuff happens, but I'm better at like being like, yeah, that's not the thing. Instead of getting myself like, still hurt my feelings where he kind of rejected me. Cause I thought after that weekend, he was in love with me based on sometimes men just like do all the thing, like holding my hand and doing all the stuff. And then had no intention of wanting anything differently. So I'm better at being like, yeah, that's not the thing. And that's okay.
Right. I love that. Good, Jenny. Me too. It feels so good.
I think I've learned that a lot over like the last year. I think that was my like turning point. And I know like I haven't like brought this up yet, but like my turning point was like the breast cancer thing when that happened and I was still dating a person and I was like, I am not doing your stuff anymore. Cause it was very much like about him. And I was like, nope, no more. I'm not fixing you. Like I have to fix me and you're not going to fix me. So we're done.
Yeah.
My like big turning point of like never again.
That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, gorgeous. Would you love to work with me on a more one-to-one basis, taking yourself, your relationships, business, and bank account to the next level? I want to invite you to book a one-to-one breakthrough plus strategy session with me. Apply for 6-month private one-to-one coaching or my Goddess Magic Mastermind, or simply dive into the Goddess Magic digital course bundle. Go to the link in the show notes if you'd like to work more intimately with me. I look forward to working with you. Yeah, so speak on that. What can you share about your breast cancer journey and like kind of like what was going on in your head when you found out?
Yeah, so just like to give a little background, I was diagnosed last April with ductal carcinoma in situ, which is basically cancer that just has not become invasive yet. It just has the potential to become invasive. So I had a lumpectomy. I guess it was bigger than what they thought, and they weren't able to get clean margins. So the recommendation was a mastectomy. I had a mastectomy in July. I had an infection post-surgery, and I had another surgery in September. My boobs were kind of wonky, and so I had another surgery in April, and now I'm dealing with like some capsular contracture, which just basically feels like my boobs being squeezed at all times, but not in a good way. So I could potentially have another surgery. It's very like cosmetic at this point. And I think, I don't know, we can get into like things that I feel about it, but yeah, I mean, I was diagnosed with that. And so like in the last year, just have been dealing with that. I mean, I was super lucky that it was stage 0. We caught it early. My gyno caught it. I had done like a self breast exam just to like, you know, tote the importance of doing those each month. But like, I don't do like monthly breast. Now I don't, because there's no reason to, but I wasn't doing them. But I think like in the shower, I think I just like felt a little something. I probably should have been better about like on the first, do it every single time. I also thought like stupidly, like, oh, a guy will feel this. And it's like, guys aren't thinking, they're not like, what is this lump? They're just like, this is a boob. This is a boob.
Right.
So, yeah. I mean, I was dating someone at the time. He didn't feel anything. So my gyno caught it. Yeah, I was super lucky. I mean, through this whole experience, I've been connected with people that were like, you know, stage 2 to 4 and have gone through like chemo and radiation and, you know, have been on drugs that are hormone blockers that have, you know, caused infertility issues. Like I am very lucky that this happened, the way that it did. But yeah, I've just had a lot of cosmetic issues resulting from it, which makes me more annoyed than anything because it's like, this is such a lucky problem to have.
Yeah.
In comparison to like what other people have dealt with.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that was also like a big turning point for me in my relationship where I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I think we had been dragging it out for a long time. He was talking about moving out here. And then when it happened, he just made the whole thing very much about him and how it affected him. And I was like, I'm done. So that was my turning point with not ever dating anybody that like puts themselves ahead of. I was just like, this is what's it's gonna be the whole time, and I might let him take care of me. I mean, it was very hard to go through.
Yeah.
Single, and like I loved my boobs so much, so it was really hard to like give that up. Being like, okay, I'm gonna be single now. I'm gonna have to go date, and like, what if they look weird and whatever? But yeah, I feel like a little bit more empowered that I made that decision instead of did the, I don't know, easier thing, I guess, of staying with somebody because I was scared to be by myself.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I mean, that just speaks volumes to like your own personal growth, and you know, that's great. I mean, it does. It speaks so much to like the work that you have done for yourself, and just like, I'm done with this bullshit. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Like, you
well,
know?
I mean, we've talked about it, and it's like, I think like the last year was like everything fell apart. You know, that happened. My relationship ended. I had a friend that died. I was in the hospital. Like I was so close to just like having all this money in savings that I was going to buy a house. And it was like, your money's gone, your relationship's gone, your boobs are gone, your friend is gone. Like it just, and I had a couple of the relationships that like were tested last year. So I felt like last year was just, I even told someone the other day, as we're about to turn 37, I was like, 36 can fuck off. Like that was, I know it was like a year of growth and a lot of things, but like this was a hard year. And I think that now I'm coming into a place of like rebuilding and asking for what I want and not dealing with certain stuff. But it's, I don't know, it's taken me a while to get here. I mean, it takes a lot of people a while to get to this place.
I don't have anybody.
And I mean, it's not even about having somebody. I think it's just about like,
just the growth,
prioritizing people that matter to you more. Like I didn't need to go through that with a guy. Like I had so many people supporting me, like you included. So yeah, I think it just put things in perspective to be like, we don't really need a person to be fulfilled or to be whole or to do hard things.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. We don't. I mean, it's funny because my mom always makes, not always, but she makes comments to me because she's like, Kelly, you're such like this like self-love like advocate, you know? And I'm like, well, you can be like, but I guess she was like just thinking like self-love, like it's okay to be single, like everybody be single. And I'm like, that's not what I'm pushing. I'm just pushing self-love. Yeah. Like you can grow, like you can improve the love that you have for yourself and your worthiness, even if you've been married for 30 years. Like if you don't feel like good about yourself, like start doing things that light you up and start, you know, go to therapy, go do something that's going to like make you feel better.
Also, like marriage and a relationship is not like the end result of like happiness. Like you get this thing and then you're happy. I mean, would I like to have like a person to go to weddings with that's a little bit more consistent? Sure. Would I like to have more steady sex? Sure. I mean, I think I have pretty steady sex considered I'm not in a relationship, but like there's little like nuance. Like, yeah, I would like to have somebody to lean on and do things with, but I have people to lean on and do things with. Like I can't have sex without having a steady person. I can't invite people to a wedding. Like, yeah, if you don't look at it in such a negative lens, like you have all of these things, it just might not be in one person. And like, I think, and I know I keep referencing other podcasts, which is like, I know fine, but like, I think Esther Perel had a podcast about like, we put so much emphasis on being like, this person is like the love of my life and my partner and the father of my kids and my best friend and the person that like likes all of my hobbies. And it's like, oh my God, that is so much pressure for somebody to be one thing for you for all of these categories. And we have so many other people that can like, I don't know, go skiing with you if somebody doesn't like skiing, or like go to a certain concert with you if they don't like your music that you like. Like I've also been like dating differently and not turning people away, like because of those things where I'm like, yeah, we might not like line up on like this, and this, but do I enjoy having sex with you? Do I enjoy talking to you? Do we have the same values? Like, do we have the same sense of humor? Like, I think those are more important than like somebody that's just 24/7 doing the same shit as you all the time.
That's true. It's true. Well, I think that speaks to like, you know, opposites attract in a lot of ways, you know, and you know, it's interesting because I was just talking to someone the other day too about like I have a friendship with someone that is opposite of what you were just talking about. Like I find the opposites to be like, we're just like totally not aligned. Like I don't think it could work because of X, Y, and Z. And it's like, I did have like a therapy, I don't know, like a life coaching session with someone. And she was like, you know, but speaking to what you just said about like, you know, obviously I've never had sex with this person, but like, is like how they treat you and like your values and like, do you get along? Like things like that. Like, how is that, you know, and stop like analyzing something that hasn't happened yet. Stop analyzing something or like, you know, because that's basically like, it's fear. It's like fear or like judgment, you know, assumptions of like, well, this is probably how it's going to be because I know that X, Y, and Z is like really big factors. And it's like, Kelly, just like, let that, like, don't worry about that and it'll work itself out. And if it doesn't, that's okay too, you know.
And it's also like what's important to you. Like if sex is super important to me, it might not be super important to somebody else, but like there's other things that might not be. It's like figure out what works for you instead of putting everybody in this box of like, well, my boyfriend does this and we do this and you need to have all of these things checked. Like, I don't know, some people might not care that somebody has like the best job in the world, but some people do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think that it just speaks to the, as you said, the box, because a lot of us are trying to, oh, well, like, you know, they have such a perfect relationship or a perfect marriage. And we kind of like base our standards sometimes on like what that is and like idolize relationships and marriages when one, we don't know that full story, but two, it's like, yeah, but that's how their marriage works. It's not,
I'm not that person.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, I can even like speak to, and I don't think she'd be weird that me saying this. Like, I think Ashley has such a good marriage but I'm not Ashley and I never will be Ashley and she'll never be me and we'll never be the same person. So it's like, I can think she has a great marriage, you know, all day long, but what she was looking for is completely different than who I am and what I was looking for.
Yeah. That's so true. That's very, very true. What do you think about, like, have you ever had conversations about this? Like, there are people like, I don't know, what is it? Like poly something? I don't know all the terminology.
Polyamorous.
Yeah, like things like that, like where you get like what you were just saying about like you get your needs kind of met from other people. Like it doesn't have to be like all in your partner. Like could you be like romantically involved with multiple people because they fulfill certain needs for you?
I thought about it just based on dating somebody that I think really cared about me, but didn't want to commit because he was traveling around and doing things. And he was like, I want to be able to meet people and sleep with people if like, I don't know, the mood so strikes me is like kind of the way that I took it. And it didn't mean that he didn't care about me. It didn't mean that he didn't want to have sex with me. It didn't mean that he didn't want to spend time with me. It just meant that he wasn't ready for an exclusive commitment. So I was like, can I do this and share somebody with somebody else? And in my head, my immediate thought was like, yes, because I didn't want to lose the thing. I also didn't want to like know about it. But I also was like, what am I really going to get out of this? And like, also, what if he like ends up liking one of these people more? And then I've agreed to this thing and then he changes the terms. So I don't know. I think you just have to have like I do think a lot of people like fulfill a lot of things. I've like gone back and forth about, should we be like monogamous for the rest of our lives? And is there just one person for everybody? Cause I haven't been in a relationship for a long time. And I actually like, am so happy about like all of the people I've dated that I didn't settle down in my 20s and marry somebody. Just because like some of those people have been like my best friend at certain times. Like they've taught me things about myself. Like, I mean, I still fully owe my sense of humor and a lot of my personality to like my college boyfriend. Like probably does not think fondly of me, but I will say forever, he made me as funny as I did. And like, I will never regret any of those relationships that like taught me things, but I don't know. It's like, I think as I get older, I'm like, okay, now I'm in a point to like want to be with somebody, but I also, if it didn't work out in like 10, 15 years, I think I would be okay to be like, okay, well, we've changed and now something else. But I mean, I guess that's hard. I don't know. That wasn't a good answer to your question, but it's,
that's good.
You know, I've like gone back and forth on it. I just don't know if I just also think that like relationships get like stagnant. I think I had this conversation the other day where I was like, I'm always going to be a flirty person. Yeah. Like, I just think I need to be in the relationship. And if also that person's a flirty person, to know, like, if I'm on a girls' trip and I'm flirting with somebody, that also at the end of that flirtatious interaction that I'm like, I'm married or I have somebody, like that it's only flirting and it's not anything. And I would want the person I'm with to have like the same respect for me. I don't care if you flirt. I don't care if you needed attention to boost your ego from some girl, but like, I also want you to point across the bar and be like, but I'm going home with her.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's that kind of thing of like, I don't know, maybe I could be in a more polyamorous thing if like I knew I was like this main person that somebody loved and sometimes they just needed to go have fun. I don't know. I did have to be like a big commitment.
Yeah.
It's one of those hypotheticals. It's like, I'm not completely like, no, but
right.
Just depends on the situation.
Yeah. I was just wondering. Good dialogue.
No, I mean, I've definitely thought about it just based on like, can one person fulfill all the things? But then also I'm like, it doesn't necessarily mean like another guy has to. It means like friends can do these things.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And I also think like you can have like male friends if it's, I mean, one of my friends' boyfriends here, like he asked me to go skiing with him all the time and she doesn't come. I think that that's so awesome that he's like, oh, Jenny will go ski with me. And that they have that level of security in their relationship. I mean, I'm definitely her friend first, but I think that's cool that we can have this own friendship outside of their relationship, even though I'm her friend.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. I mean, I have a handful of guy friends, you know, that I've been friends with for years. And like, I love the ones that where their wives are like, yeah, go to lunch with him or go have dinner, go grab drinks, like, and like not inviting themselves because they know like we need like our like best friend time or whatever. And it's so cool. And I'm like, I just fucking love your wife. I love your wife so much. Like, thank you for letting me have this time. It's like such a cool thing.
I mean, I kind of wonder how that will play out in terms of like, there's one thing of like being friends with guys. And there's another thing of being friends with exes. And I'm friends with a lot of exes. Okay. Where I've had to like I've been casually dating someone, exclusively dating someone, but not my boyfriend for the last like 3 months. And I've had to like make boundaries with exes that reach out to me, because I'm like, I'm dating someone. And even though you are reaching out to me with a wife or you're reaching out to me with a girlfriend, like I'm not going to do the same things.
Yeah.
I always thought that their level of reaching out kind of crossed a line of inappropriateness.
Yeah.
Of like, remember when we did this when we dated? And it's like, I certainly wouldn't want my husband to be talking to his ex the way that you do. But I'm like, I don't know, if you want to reach out to me and you need a friend, or if you need like something, but I'm just not going to do that if I'm in a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you in the past? I mean, you like allowed that in the past?
I think I have. I think there's been times where I'm like, if someone went through my phone, I don't think that they would feel good.
Yeah.
I don't think I've done anything, I haven't like cheated or like, had sexual conversations, but I don't think it would have made someone feel good. And I'm trying to avoid anything that, like, if someone were to take my phone, would they see something? And I mean, for the most part, like you might see something. Like I had some guy text me today where I'm like, it was like an old date asking if I want to get a drink. I'm sure if the person I'm dating now saw my phone, he could be like, why is this person asking you this? It's like, I don't know, popped out of nowhere.
Right.
He could probably make a lot of assumptions like, well, did you see him recently? Have you been talking? So it's very assumption based, but all I'm saying is like, I can only control what I do. And I just would never want anyone to see me saying something that would make them feel bad.
Yeah.
And I definitely think my exes have been guilty of texting me things that their wife or girlfriend would not appreciate.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But guys are gross sometimes.
Yeah.
Not all guys.
Guys are dumb. Some guys are dumb.
Some guys are just dumb. They just need like a little, like, I don't know, trip down memory lane to be like, yeah, you were cool one time at 28. They're like, was sex really good? And I'm like, yeah, it was great. It wasn't, but I said that it was because I don't know, maybe you needed that.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So you mentioned something about like learning, just like learning, like your humor, I guess, like from an ex-boyfriend from college. How have you used humor, I guess, like throughout your life? Like, what is that? Like,
I definitely think I use humor to like deflect and embellish things. I mean, I was telling my mom that like, our whole group chat girlfriend story on 4th of July when one of our girlfriends was like, this is me and my family going to watch fireworks. And I was like, she was like, American dream. And I was like, I just had sex with someone and ate a cheeseburger, American dream. Yes, that was funnier than the version of like, it was the guy I was dating and we had just also gotten cheeseburgers, but it sounded funnier to make it seem like I just had a one night stand and ate a cheeseburger.
Right.
And I realized like, oh, I can't just like always be funny at the detriment of myself because it'll make people think, things about me. But I think like, I don't know. I just like making people laugh. So sometimes if it's at my own expense, it's whatever. I mean, I definitely have used humor going through like the breast cancer stuff of, making jokes about dating and sex and my boobs. But it also, I don't know, like even this new guy I've been dating, I was like, yeah, like when you see my boobs, one of them's not going to be looking at you, like kind of that kid with the lazy eye, but just focus on this one. And like, he was like, if you never said anything, I wouldn't have even noticed that. And I'm like, yeah, but I was funny about it because then like, it's funny. And then it's not as big of a deal. If I had been like, this one's really bad, but I don't know. Mm-hmm. I think I use humor to like deflect.
Yeah. Well, I think it's natural. I mean, not to say it's like humor, but I have a nervous laugh. Like that's my, like I deflect doing that. Like I'll like say something like, like laugh about it. I'm like, that wasn't even funny. You're stupid.
I also think that you laugh to make people comfortable.
Yeah, maybe, but it's making myself comfortable too.
It's you comfortable, like, but also like, I don't know. I've heard your fake laugh where I'm like, that guy wasn't funny. It was like the whole thing. Like, I think I posted the other day where I was like, oh, when you do a fake laugh because it's summer and he has a boat and you're like, ha, that's a good joke.
Yeah.
There's times where I've been on dates where I'm like, my fake laugh has become my real laugh. And this is where we are now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But I love it. No, you are one of my most witty friends. I mean, you're very, you can just like spit jokes out, or just like that, just like dry sense of humor. And I mean, that's a part of why I love you, you know? So don't stop. Don't stop.
No, I probably won't ever stop that part. I mean, I probably get that from my mom too. I think just like the guy I dated in college was like, here's stand-up comedy. And like, I don't know, stand-up comedy was harder to come by when we're in college. Like, we don't have Instagram. We don't have YouTube. We don't have, I mean, we had to like buy CDs and listen to them in the car. And he was like, listen to this new, I'm like, it's crazy because all the people I was about to name, it's like Louis C.K. and Dane Cook and like all people who have literally fallen from grace. But like, it was real. I mean, I saw Louis C.K. in like a tiny dive venue in Atlanta, and then he like blew up. Like, same with Dane Cook. Like, just like he introduced me to that stuff. And I was just so, I don't know, impressionable. Like when I came to college, I was like scared to order a pizza. I was like, I don't want to order the pizza. You order the pizza. Like, I just didn't know who I was. I just wasn't very confident. And as much as like even that relationship was tumultuous because he was just an immature frat guy, he still like gave me this personality and this sense of humor. So it's like, I don't know. It's almost like I wish I could like write down all of my exes and like the thing that they gave to me.
Yeah.
There's definitely been like a very specific thing of like, this one gave me confidence about this, or this one gave me my first orgasm, or this one, I'm sure like my college boyfriend did, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure there's like things that we've learned from all of them that have like shaped who we are now.
Yeah. I mean, that is literally an exercise that I have clients go through because it's something I've done. It's like, I've gone back through all the guys that I've dated, whether it was like a, you know, small time frame of dating to like my longer term relationships, and like write down like everything that I like, you know, lessons that I may have learned from them, or things that I gained, or things that I really loved about them, so that I had the, like, I could see it on paper and I had the awareness of, well, this is what I want. This is what I'm like definitely looking for. And this is like if I feel like, have I really learned those lessons yet? You know, and like, what can I gain from this still, like in this time? And it's kind of interesting because like after doing that and then like putting together, like writing out like my dream partner list and all that stuff, it's like, you just have more awareness after you see it on paper, and you're like, this is what I will accept. This is what I won't accept. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. And I feel like you just get closer and closer to like attracting that type of person that you're wanting in my case, you know? So
no, I do. And I think like, I mean, even this person that I've been dating now, it's like, this is the first time that I have been like, I am not going to date other people because I'm so scared that if this thing fails, I have someone backed up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, nope, I'm going to whole ass this one thing instead of half ass a bunch of things. And like, that's really scary for me. And I even like presented it to him of like, hey, we've both been dating other people. I was not like, how about we both stop? I was just like, I don't want to. You do whatever you want to do, but here's where I am. And I don't want to spend all of my energy and my time going on these dates with other people just for the sake of having backups for if you don't work out. Yeah. And if you don't work out, then I'll just be focusing my energy on myself, and that's okay too. Yeah. And if he had come back and said, okay, well, I don't want to do that, then that would have been my answer, and that would have not been my person. But he was like, yeah, until we figure out like where this is, like, I don't want to date other people either. And so instead of like what I normally do in the past is like be anxious and be like, well, what if he really is talking to other people? It's like, I can only like take him at his word, and I can only trust what he says, even though like all of my past relationships have like, and I've been cheated on very much, but like everything would indicate, do not trust this person, make them jump through hoops, to all this stuff. It's like, no, like it's unlearning all of these unhealthy behaviors that like not even we did to ourselves, but that these like relationships did to us, and that we carried on to the next relationship instead of like fixing them.
Totally.
We were all like having to unlearn stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for listeners out there that are like, but like how, like what has been like your journey of like, unlearning and like just becoming more confident and like setting boundaries and that kind of thing? Like how have you been able to heal, I guess, like from your past?
I mean, I think it's like, I have started going back to therapy. I mean, and like, we all talk to like our girlfriends, and we all listen to podcasts, and we do stuff like that. I think it's just, it sounds stupid when you say it out loud, but it's like, I just started asking for the things that I want.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to do them, then that's it. Like, I do you know who Jared Freed is?
Yes. Yeah.
He like talks about like the reveal of like, say what you want, because we're all not saying what we want. And that like literally weeds out the people that don't want, like, so if we don't say that what we want, because we're so scared of not getting chosen, and we're like, well, I'm not going to say this thing because I want to be cool girl, which I am very guilty of being for like my entire life. If we don't say the thing that we want, then we think like eventually they're going to love us enough to give it to us. And it's like, we're just banking on the fact that like, maybe they're gonna, it's like, that's not guaranteed just because they decide to be with us. Like, so it's like, why don't you just get that out of the way up front? And I've just realized like, I've done the scary thing of being like, hey, I need more from you and I need you to communicate better. If you can't do that, then that's okay, but that's what I need. And literally every single time he does it. And I'm like, oh my God, for the last like 20 years, did all we have to do with men is just say the thing that we want?
Yeah.
That simple? Are they that simple-minded where we're like, I want you to do this? And they're like, all right.
Right.
Because sometimes they're too stupid to think about it themselves. I'm not going to say all men are stupid, but like it's been working lately. And I'm not going to say that this is going to be like this relationship that works out, but at least this might be the relationship that teaches me that I can ask for the things that I want. If it doesn't work out, I think it might be that because we're different, or like, you know, we want different things, or who knows if he wants to get married, or, you know, whatever, or hobbies or whatever. But I don't think it's going to be because I didn't ask for the things I want. And I'm going to leave this relationship being like, I did everything I could and I was myself and I asked for the things I wanted. And that's all I could control and I could do. So like, that's, I think, has made it easier for me to be like, if they don't want to do the thing, like, why would you put up with that from a friend?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
It's even like the stupid stuff of like, he was going out of the country and I was like, should I offer to give him a ride? Because is that weird if I give him a ride? And it's like, I would offer a friend a ride to the airport.
I know.
And this person's been inside me. So why can't I offer him a ride to the airport? Like, if I would do it for it, if you're doing behaviors just for this person that you wouldn't do for somebody else, sure. But it's like, if you're asking somebody to do things that you would literally do with a friend, this is somebody that's supposed to be more than a friend. They're having sex with you.
Right.
So why do you not just do the same thing?
Right.
I don't know. It's wild. It's also like the same thing I feel about like, you know, couples that fight where I'm like, God, you guys fight all the time. Like if I was fighting like that with a friend all the time, we just wouldn't be friends.
100%. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's like you started that like, oh, I think this might be like a silly thing or a dumb thing to say, but it literally was like the best thing that you could have said because it's communication.
Yeah.
Like, but we are afraid. Like, as you just said, like even just asking them like, hey, do you want me to pick you up from the airport or do you want to ride or like whatever? And it's like, you're right. They've been inside you.
We're scared to show that we care too much. And it's like, if my worst thing about me is I care too much, if I like say I miss you and you don't say it back, if I say I love you, which I am an I love you slut, but like if my worst thing is like I care too much, I will take that as my worst thing. 100%.
Absolutely.
Like, someone's like, oh, Jenny's weird. She says she misses me after 3 months of dating. And I'd be like, okay, well, I say I miss you to like friends that I've known that I met in the bathroom after a day. Like that's just who I am. And if you don't like that and that's too much, then like go find something different.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Also, you'd be lucky if I love you. I love really hard and you love really hard. And I think that's like a good quality to have. I think it's why we have so many friends and why we have so many experiences. And
yeah.
I'm sick of like apologizing for that being like a trait in my relationships that could like scare someone off. Like, oh, we love too much.
Yeah. 100. Yeah. I mean, I feel like the same thing. I mean, I've just become more and more communicable and speaking my truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, there was a time I was with someone, not like dating or anything, but like even like had relations with this person, but I still have those like fears of like speaking up or like asking about things. And, you know, it was kind of like me asking, I think I wanted to know about like a former relationship or something. And so, but it had been on my mind for like a while. And like every time like I would want to say it. And then I was like afraid to say it because I didn't want them to be like, I don't know, like it's all of the like fear-based assumptions and stuff. Well, like if I say this, then maybe he's probably going to think this about me, or he's going to think this, or like whatever. And so, but I finally just like asked it, like, hey, have you like heard from that girl? Like, you know, lately, like, do you guys still talk or like whatever? And I mean, he just was so chill about it. He was like, no, I mean, not really. Like,
when I think
like here and there or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. And it just felt so good to like get it out of my brain though. And I was like, why are you so scared to like just ask a simple question?
I feel like we should be able to ask anything of anybody that like we have a relationship with. And I'm also so sick of this whole like, well, we're not boyfriend, girlfriend, but we're dating, but we're seeing each other. Like, you're in a relationship. It doesn't matter. Like, let's stop like labeling it this thing. Like, whether you've known somebody for like a week or you've known them for a year, that's still a relationship. Yeah. It's still like, you know, interacting with somebody and getting to know somebody. It doesn't mean it's like a serious relationship or a committed relationship or an exclusive relationship. It's still a relationship.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And like, I think what you were saying too, like made me think of something where I think it's the proactive communication of, hey, I really, to make me feel comfortable, or to like, I don't know if I would say to make me feel comfortable. It sounds weird, but in my head, it's to make me feel comfortable. Right. Like, hey, I want this thing for like, you don't communicate well. And so like, I need you to communicate a little bit better because that's what I need. Mm-hmm. Versus, hey, I don't like that you didn't communicate with me last night. It's almost like telling somebody the things that you need versus getting mad at them for not giving what you want. Like, you know, this person that like went on a trip, I was like, hey, like you're going on a trip for 2 weeks and you're going to be gone and you have a lot of things going on. Like, I just don't want to not hear from you. It doesn't mean you have to call me every day. And I didn't say these words specifically, but it doesn't mean you have to call me every day for like 10 minutes. Doesn't mean you have to like check in and tell me what you had for lunch. But it's like, I want to know that I'm still a priority to you because it's a long period of time. I almost didn't say that because I was like, well, I don't want him to think that I'm weird for wanting these things. And it's like, so then I was going to wait for him to not contact me for those 2 weeks and then be mad at him. And it's like, how can I be mad at him for an expectation that I set, but I didn't communicate to him?
Correct. Which
like, that's the dumbest thing.
So dumb. Yeah. But I feel like so many
read
people,
my mind.
yeah. So many people do that. Like we have these expectations.
They think the same way as we do. It's like, we're men and we're women and we're different. And even in like same sex relationships, like you have to communicate things. Like not everyone's gonna like read your mind or think the way that you think.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because we are all very, very different and we need to communicate because those expectations, if someone's not meeting these expectations, that one, were not communicated to them, even if they were communicating, like, even if you were communicating and the person is just not showing up the way, it's like, okay, well, how long are you going to like accept that behavior? You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's in like, friendships too. I mean, I had a friend that was like, you know, she had a baby and she was like, my life's really hard and you don't check in on me. I don't have a baby. How would I know that it's hard if all I see is on Instagram of it being great? You have to tell me that you need me. You have to tell me that something's hard. I can't read your mind and like interpret, like, I don't know, her Instagram post seemed cryptic. So like, maybe I should reach out to her. Like, we all have our own shit going on. Totally. Like, whether it's good stuff or bad stuff, we're all busy. And like, you need to ask the people that you care about you for support if you need support. And you can't be mad at them that they're not, she should be checking in on me. Like, no, not everyone's responsibility. So like, it goes further than relationships and it's any friendships.
Yeah.
Any relationships too.
Family. Yes, absolutely. I know. I think it's like the biggest, I always, not like, I mean, in a disgruntled way, but I like definitely am like, okay, if this person isn't showing up, like you're only getting mad at yourself if you just keep allowing the shit to happen. Like, but don't take it personally either. Like, they got their own shit going on. Like, just
everybody does, especially like in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Exactly. I mean, yes, so much. Oh my God. Yeah, this was good. I love this. See, great. Great little girl chat. This is so easy. You had so much good stuff to say.
I feel like we've always had like these, and I know we don't live in the same place, but I feel like whenever we get into the same like city, like these are the conversations we have.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, even since like I lived in Austin, like I would reach out to you about like, I just think that we connect sort of like on a spiritual level about just like putting energy out into the world and things like that. I don't know if that's like just who we are, or just we're like Leos and we're just very similar. I don't know, but I I don't know. I feel like you've definitely, I'm very defensive in who I am sometimes. And so I'm like, I do love myself, Kelly. Like, don't tell me to love myself more. I do love myself. But like, and then I definitely reflect on it. And I'm like, okay, I can get what she was saying, because if I did love myself more, I wouldn't even allow somebody to treat me that way. But it can be interpreted so many different ways that it's like, people just are wanting the best for you. So
yeah, I'm definitely, to all my listeners, like the fixer mentality, it's like real deep inside me. So like with my friends, I just give unsolicited opinions and advice sometimes. And I'm like, they weren't asking, and I should like ask more questions versus going straight into this like fixer mode. We'll do this.
But also, like, I contacted you just like straight up bitching about something, and you were like, let me fix it. And then I was like, this isn't helping. And then I was like, she literally knows no information. I just came in real hot and was just like, fuck men. You're like, well, maybe it's not just them. And I'm like, it is them. It is not. It's me too. I mean, it's never just like one person or one thing. I mean, we're all just different. We're all just doing our best. It's like, I'm just doing our best.
We're just doing our best.
We everyone needs to like give people grace, whether it's like in a relationship or a friendship, of being like, I don't know, I'm doing my best to show up for you. I'm doing my best to communicate things. And just like, I've been like, all I can control is myself. Yeah. And all I can do is just give people the benefit of the doubt and take them at face value, and not hold all of my other stuff against new people in my life.
Absolutely. I love
that. That has taken a while to get here too. So hopefully other people get to it sooner.
Yeah. I mean, I think that that's the power of like having conversations like this is, you know, hopefully there are people obviously that need to hear this information, but that are younger that could maybe prevent, you know, like we're both, you know, going to be 37 within the next couple of weeks. And it's like, wow, I wish that I could have told my 18 or 21-year-old self what I know now, you know, and I could have saved myself a lot of heartache and all of that. But it's like everyone's journey is different. Like, I mean, my parents were married at age 23 and 25, you know, and it's like, there's a lot. I mean, my mom, what was it, 2 years ago or a year ago, was like, I've grieved the fact that I may never have grandchildren. I'm like, Mom, I'm not dead. I'm not 90. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, people have kids in their 40s. It's okay. Like, calm down.
I mean, I told my mom straight up today she's not getting any, but that could change.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
you're open to it. But
yeah, I don't know. I just also think that's the thing too. You can say whatever you want, and then you can change your mind. You could want to be with a certain person, and then you could not. You could say someone's your best friend forever, and then your lives change. Like, life is about like changing things, and life is about having regrets and like learning from them. Like, I'm this whole, like, I don't have regrets. It's like, I do.
Right.
I do. I don't really regret a lot of people I've like slept with, but I've regretted like how long I've perpetuated relationships or things I've said or ways I've handled things. But yeah, we have regrets. It's just like, what do you do with them?
Right. Exactly. We can all have regrets. It's just like, don't like sit in like a guilt and shame spiral about it. Like, just learn the lessons, have the regret, move on, and feel better. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I love this. If anyone wants to, I know we covered like a lot of different things. So if anyone wants to connect with you, how can they do that?
I mean, I guess they can just like follow me on Instagram. It's Jenny Jones, y'all.
Jenny Jones, y'all. Like the talk show host.
Like the talk show host, Jenny Jones, y'all. It's mostly just like pictures of me skiing and my dog, and then inappropriate stuff.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. She's a great follow.
A lot of my boobs.
Yeah, but they're great.
They're just fake, so it doesn't even count.
I know. But you know what? You're here. And that's what.
Yeah, no, and they do count. Like, I'm very happy to be where I am, and I'm glad that I did what I did. That's me making jokes to deflect again.
No, I know. Well, thank you so much for being on and just having vulnerable, just honest conversations and relatable. I know it's going to resonate with a lot of the listeners. So thank you. And I love you. And I am so excited to see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I love you too. And thanks for always being my little like spirit animal guide of things.
You're welcome.
It brings me down when I'm real fired up.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I'm sorry I locked you in a closet in college. If anyone wants to know that story, it's for another time.
Yeah, she locked me in a closet. Well, no, it was the bathroom. No, let's have that. I was trying to escape to a boy's house. Let's have this conversation. I was trying to escape to go to a boy's house in an inappropriate hour. And she was like, you're not leaving. So I went to the bathroom to go to the bathroom and I like tried to get out and I literally couldn't get out. And I'm like, how did you lock the door from the outside? And she was like, literally like sitting on the floor outside of the door with like a scrunchie wrapped around her waist and a scrunchie wrapped around the door handle, like holding it shut.
No, I put a big thing from the door to the closet. So they both held each other together.
Oh, I thought you were sitting there holding the scrunchie.
No, so every time you tried to pull it, you couldn't.
I was so mad because this is one of those,
let me out.
Yeah, let me out. This was one of those guys, like I was infatuated. I was in lust with. I was infatuated with him. He was like my college, like lover that didn't love me back the same way. And I would just succumb to anything. Like, oh, you want to come over at 2 a.m.? You want to like, oh, I was just hanging out with another girl all night, but she left. So you want to come over? Like stupid shit.
I saved you. I'm a hero.
You did.
I usually am a villain, but in this story, I was a hero.
I think I still went though once you let me out.
I think I did let you out. I was like, oh, I'm sick of you knocking. I need to go to sleep. Fine.
I was not happy. I was like, I have to get to him. There's alcohol involved, whatever.
Oh, college.
Like 20. It's fine.
Can't wait to see you in 2 weeks. I'll lock you in another closet. I don't know.
Okay. That sounds good. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I love you. Thank you for being here. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
If you loved this episode, please download, share, rate, and review. If you are ready to step into that next level version of you and grow your business and bank account, it's time to unleash your goddess magic and chase life with Kelly. You can start this epic expansion journey by diving into the Goddess Magic course bundle found at chaselifetogether.com. Please connect with me on Instagram at Chase Life with Kelly. Join the Chase Life with Kelly Facebook community and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Till next time, create the life you crave, babe, and chase life with Kelly.